Hey there, I'm Tim. Sony have recently added 3 new models of digital SLR to their Alpha range. The Alpha 230, 330 and 380. All 3 of these models are a great transition for people who are coming up from compact digital cameras because they've been designed from the ground up to be extremely simple to use. Today I'm going to give you a quick tour of some of the new features on these Alpha cameras. This is LearnTV. Even if you're new to digital SLRs, you're probably already familiar with some of the benefits of them. For example, the interchangeable lens system, meaning that you can purchase a lens according to your requirements, or buy the camera now and at some point in the future spend more on the lens and upgrade your imaging experience. SLRs also offer superior picture quality thanks to a larger imaging sensor and also faster performance for things like autofocus. Sony's Alpha range of SLRs in particular offer very good ease of use. They're a great transition for people coming up from compact cameras, and this is especially true for this year's range of cameras. Today I'm going to take you on a quick tour to show you some of those features that make our cameras easy to use. All Sony Alpha cameras feature some standard technologies, including Steady Shot Inside. Steady Shot Inside is a system which shifts the sensor in order to compensate for your hand movement. The benefit of this is if you're using a long telephoto lens or a lens with a lot of zoom, or you're using a slower shutter speed, it prevents your handshake from causing blur in the picture. The reason why it's so important that this feature is actually built into the Sony camera body is that unlike other manufacturers where you're required to go out and buy expensive image stabilized lenses, every single lens that you put on a Sony Alpha digital SLR is an image stabilized lens thanks to the system. If you're used to using a compact camera and you're looking at digital SLRs for the first time, you'll notice that Sony has made some significant improvements in the way these cameras are laid out. So for example, most compact cameras tend to have the controls down on the right hand side. On the Sony Alpha camera, that is also true. Instant access to features like playback or deleting of images is available directly using those buttons, meaning you don't have to sift through complicated menus in order to be able to access those common functions. Sony's also made a number of changes to the menu system on these cameras to make them even easier to use. But before I show you that, I want to show you some of the ways that you can connect these cameras to other devices. So, all your connection options are hidden cleverly behind a little panel on the side of these new cameras. You'll notice we have standard USB connections, both memory stick and SD card slots, so you have a choice regardless of where you're moving from with your previous camera. We have a switch there for adjusting between memory stick and SD, and we have a mini HDMI connection on there. The benefit of the mini HDMI connection is that when connected to a Bravia TV with Bravia Sync technology, not only do you get full high definition picture quality on the TV, but using the Sony TV remote control, you even have control over the camera, playback of photos, deleting images and making other adjustments without having to leave your seat. Once the HDMI cable is connected to the camera, simply pushing the playback button on the camera will switch the TV to the correct input and begin playing back your photos. From this point, I can use the Sony TV remote to control the functions of the camera. So, I can skip through photographs, I can use the play button to begin playing a slideshow, I can even bring up other functions using the TV's sync menu button. So from here, I can view the photographs in an image index, and if there's a particular photo that I don't like, I can even delete it. As I've got the menu up on the screen, I want to show you a few of the other features that make these new Sony cameras extremely easy to use. Turning the mode dial, as you'll see, not only selects a variety of preset scenes, but on these new models, it will even give you tips and information about what you would use those scenes for. Previously on Sony cameras, we had a menu system that looked a bit like this. For new users, this was pretty daunting. Controlling things like aperture and shutter speed, which you may or may not be familiar with, can be a bit of a trick. So, on the new Sony Alpha cameras, we now have a graphical interface, which helps you to understand what those settings are actually going to change. So for example, if we make a change to the shutter speed, you'll see we're shifting from more of a stationary image through to a faster moving image. Same thing is true for the aperture. So if I make a change to the aperture, you'll see that we're actually changing what's called the depth of field. So the amount of the image that is going to be in focus. Now this adjustment will vary according to the lenses that you're using. Most higher quality lenses will give you a wider range of aperture settings to help you adjust the depth of field or the area of the frame that is going to be in focus with more control. If you happen to not like the white, you can also even adjust that now. We now have 4 different display colors, from black, which is what we've offered previously on Alpha cameras, through to brown and even pink. Sony Alpha cameras also make it extremely quick and easy to make other adjustments. So for example, using the function key on the back of the camera, I now have access to a new shooting functions menu. If you're not sure about any of these features, simply hovering over them will give you some on-screen guidance. Now of course, being Sony, the battery life is exceptional. So despite these cameras being much smaller and more compact than previous Alpha models, these will still give you over 500 shots with a single charge of the lithium battery. To help make the move up from compact cameras to digital SLRs even easier, selected Sony Alpha cameras also feature our Quick AF Live View. A Quick AF Live View is a unique feature found on Sony cameras that's designed to give you the same digital SLR experience, so fast focus, really accurate exposure, while at the same time giving you the ease of use of a live preview of your photograph on the back screen. The Sony Alpha a330 and a380 also have a tilting LCD on the back, meaning that there's a huge amount more flexibility as far as being able to capture that shot even from high or low angles. We'll have a proper look at Quick AF Live View in a future episode of LearnTV. For now though, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Alpha digital SLRs from Sony. We'll see you next time.